Hi everybody, this is Liz with 143 Handmade, and I'm going to show you how I plan to join my Darlene Misho block. So this is the January block. This is such a cute little kitty block, right? And the February block with its part. And the March block with the house. And here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with one block at a time at first, just to get the everything lined up right. Now, you know, as you quilt something, it shrinks in on itself just a little bit, you know, because you're adding, you know, kind of another up and down and whatnot, and so your edges can get weird. It's up to you how much you worry about that, how much you square up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it fairly wonky, and I'm going to cut just my liner to match my the block itself. Just the liner though. So I'm gonna pull that back and be able to see my backing fabric. Okay, now I'm just gonna work on the one edge so that way these edges are supported, you know, of my actual block by this extra fabric. I'm going to do a 3 across, 4 down layout. You know, just January, February, March, and then continuing on, instead of trying to, you know, wait and do something, you know, more, something different, you know, something with sashing or anything like this. This is just what I've decided to do. It's just going to be whatever size it ends up being, and it'll be great. And so on this one, I'm going to cut both. Actually, wait, make sure that's laid out real flat. I'm going to cut both the backing and the liner even with the block on this edge. And as I said, I'm only working with the edge that I plan to sew in just a moment. I am not pre-cutting anything. I am only trimming, like I said, as I go. Let's see there. There's my backing fabric and my middles on this one. I have gone ahead and left the hand stitched, you know, the needle with the string in it, because after I sew this, I'm gonna need to do, you know, some more stitching. I will need to move that before I do the stitching on that edge, but it will be just fine for this one. And so, okay, make sure that you're cutting the proper edges, you know, the two edges that are gonna meet. These are both right sides up at the moment. We're going to put them right sides together, but I wanted to lay them next to each other first to make sure I had them both upright. And now I'm going to flip this over and line this up. Now it's a little bit tricky because the backing and the liner are oversized, and so I just like to fold it back, and then that way I can line up the block itself first, like so, and then just lay these back on top. Now this is one time with so many layers that I am going to go ahead and pin. I'm not a huge pinner. I really don't use a lot of pins. I really dislike the way it feels to be pricked with a pin. That is my biggest issue with it. It is not, you know, I love the accuracy that people can get with the pins, and it's beautiful work. It's just not enjoyable for me, so I don't do it. It's not an aspect of sewing that I enjoy a lot, but every once in a while, they're worth it. Okay, y'all know how to sew a straight line if you're here. So if not, this is not where you're going to learn that, because I don't sew in straight lines. But, oh, see, there it is. I went and pricked myself already. That's why I don't use pins. Anyways, I'm going to sew my, a little bit of a generous 1/4 inch seam because it's so many layers. I'm going to go ahead and be generous, but just sew right here along this cut edge, leaving this flap free. But, encasing it, you know, it will be part of that seam. There will just be extra over here. I'll show you why. Okay, so now I've sewn down this whole edge, and now I have all of those layers encased. And these two blocks are sewn together. And that is kind of a bulky seam, you know. And so what I'm doing on the underside is I'm kind of pulling this long flap and rolling this over with my fingers, so that way it goes, the seam goes towards the flap, just like you would with your iron. I'm just kind of doing that with my hand. There we go. See, like so. And then what I'm going to do is on the back, I'm going to flip it this way. I'm going to take the iron to it and iron this over. And then I am not a huge fan of the invisible stitch. I have not done a lot of hand sewing with the invisible stitch type stitch, but I think that that would actually, I think I would enjoy that most as far as how that will end up looking, is in just doing, you know, the little tiny binding hand stitch there instead of having the other, you know, the machine stitching show. I wouldn't mind the machine stitching showing on the back, but I don't want that machine stitching showing on the front, that line that would appear. So that's how I'm going to finish that, is by hand sewing that. It's a, you know, this, I don't know exactly what it's called, but I know that I'm not doing anything new here. This has been done a million times, but I don't know, like I said, I don't know the terms. That's one of those differences between somebody who's played at something and had it as a hobby forever, but and a master, you know, because a master would know. A master would know exactly what this is called. This type of join. Okay, that's right side up. So set that aside and flip this one upside down, so that way I can get the proper edge cut off. So that's how I will do the joining, and thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you will come back and see me again soon. I appreciate every single minute we spend together, and I can't tell you guys how much these last couple years on YouTube has meant to me. Thank you, thank you.